Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Soul Artistry Radio. We are happy that you are here listening with us today. It is Monday morning, and we are ready to start the week. Before we begin, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Sargent Art, for creating awesome art supplies at a really affordable price. And we also want to thank Bungee app for being our friend with the truck and delivering and picking up anything that doesn't fit in your car. So go ahead and check them out. And we have their promo codes that we use and that will also provide 20% off for you guys, Air Art or Got the Mojo. The information is in the bio. So today we have, as always, we have Mojo.
Absolutely. Got your boy here in the morning.
And then we have a very special guest. We have Brian Breach.
Brian Breach is here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So for those of you guys who don't know who he already is, he is our social media marketing guy that we use. And he's also an entrepreneur and he does a lot of other things. So if you just want to give our listeners a rundown of what you do.
I don't even know what I do anymore, to be honest with you. Hi, I'm Brian Breach. I do social media management. I'm an entertainer. I shoot some viral videos. Did a recent TED Talk. Been an entrepreneur for quite a while, and a content creator. I think I covered it. Yeah,
content creator.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. So the reason we have Brian on here is because what he was able to do for Mojo and I which is something that a lot of you guys want help with, is he helped us really turn what we were doing on social media into a business. And a lot of us, we kind of think that we could just kind of do ourselves. And what you do is you press the fast forward button, I think, from A to Z, and you get us way, further down the line with just what you do behind the scenes. Right? Because nobody ever really thinks about the behind the scenes things that go on to see the success of what people are doing.
Well, everybody thinks it's overnight success. There's no such thing as overnight success.
Exactly.
Even those people take 10 years to get to the point to have an overnight success.
Right.
Exactly.
And then also, like you said, it's that hurdle is to get over. Like, I made like 1,000 followers by myself. Like, how do I get to the next level to like make my social media an actual business? You know.
Absolutely.
So.
For sure. So when I hired Brian, I was like around like 3,000 followers, and I was starting to get that point where I wanted my art to take the next level, but I didn't know how to do that.
Right. You have amazing art, by the way. Both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ridiculously talented.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. You can say that as much as you want.
Shout it out.
Feel free to give compliments. So when I started that, I was like, okay, I want to take it to the next level, but I didn't know how.
Right.
And there was a lot of like scam companies that it's like get likes and get followers and all that, but that does you nothing if you're actually trying to take those followers and turn them into real clients. So can you
even just real people?
Yeah, just real people, because you want to be able to connect and you want real relationships. So can you kind of let our listeners know what you do, like how you help, entrepreneurs and how you help people who are really trying to build their social media?
Absolutely. And to piggyback up just what you were saying real quick is that Instagram actually does like a flush out every year or two. And there was actually I forgot his name. There was like a famous rapper with 1 million followers, flushed him down to like 100K. He literally deleted his Instagram because he was embarrassed because he bought the followers.
Wow.
It does nothing to buy your followers, because what happens is if you have 100,000 followers and you have 2 comments under every picture, they already know.
They know it's fake.
Everybody knows you're a phony.
Yeah, everyone knows it. But so what I do on my end is I typically target people along the lines of what you're doing. So, if you guys do art, obviously, so we'll try to target other art pages, their followers, people of the same interest. We'll try to send out likes from your page to target specific hashtags that have to do with what you're doing. We're able to send out, DMs, but, strategy, you got to word it in a way where it doesn't come across as spam. You're not sending immediate links out, so those are pretty much 3 ways we help, build people's pages, and it's been working like a charm and a blessing.
And the amazing thing is too, you target specific locations.
Absolutely.
Which is a really great thing, especially if you have a local small company, which is something like if you're trying to, sell and you're just buying followers, you're not going to get anything from it.
Absolutely. No. So here's I have a question. So
I got an answer.
Thank you. So for all of the people that are listening and watching, I know a lot of people want to figure out, okay, I want to get this following, but my Instagram is not up to par.
Right.
Like, what are some things that people need to do? Some tips to think about, like, I need to do this for my Instagram. I need to post on this day, or my content should look like this. What are some of those tips that you would give?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have a friend of mine, and she's so on point with her Instagram that what she does is there's a specific app that she color coordinates everything. Wow. I'm talking about to the point where if she takes a picture and there's a plant behind her, she'll have an editor edit out that plant.
Wow.
Or change the color to match the ambiance of the room if it doesn't make sense. Like there's a piece of garbage on the ground, she'll flip it out. But there's specific apps now, and this is just one way, but there's specific apps now where you can color coordinate every single one of your pictures. So when people see it, there's a perfect flow to it. Okay. Now that's just one thing. Some of the other random things I tell people, first of all, you got to hashtag things right. I guess I do now. There was a period of time I wasn't using a lot of hashtags, but you want to make sure your hashtags are on point. If you choose a hashtag, the hashtag under a picture that has what I call the bucket. If you click on a hashtag like love, there's about 15 million pictures in love. If your picture goes in that bucket, no one's seeing it. It's lost. So you want to study your hashtags and find specific hashtags, maybe with 300,000 or 25K, where you're going to get pushed up. Also, when you post a picture, the faster people like that picture or video and comment on it, the faster you get put into Instagram's algorithm. So if people flood your comments immediately, you have a higher chance of them people constantly seeing it.
The more engagement.
Now, with your Instagram stories specifically, a lot of people view my Instagram stories are like, yo, you post every minute of every day. The reason I do that is because
how do you live outside of this?
I don't live. I live on Instagram. But the thing is, if you post a story on Instagram, right? Okay.
It immediately comes up to the top.
Right. It comes up to the top, but you have to scroll down to see other people's stories. You only see the first 4 stories. And if you're following 4,000 people, you see those first 4 stories and it gets pushed out automatically. So every time you post something, your story gets pushed to the front, pushed to the front, pushed to the front. Or else if you let your story go for 5 minutes, the circle is up top. It gets flushed out. So that's another way. A lot of people don't use Instagram Live. And I always tell people, at least once a week, try to get on it. I've been slacking on it, but try to get on Instagram Live more so people see you're active more. Link stuff in your stories. All my stories, I try to get creative. If I take a picture of the, out this window, I'll literally put GIF buildings in there, GIF birds.
You would think he was like the creator of GIFs.
Maybe like making stories.
This dude's got like 30,000 GIFs per story.
There's one girl told me, she's like, I don't get it. Are those even real pictures? I'm like, yeah, they're real pictures, but I like animate them myself. And the only reason I do that is because I want it to be different. Everybody's story is the same way.
But there's actually something to that because even how we're built, our eyes are gravitated towards movement.
Exactly.
So when you have a still picture, if there's movement in the picture, you're more likely to stay visually engaged if there's movement.
Absolutely. And I've had people say, yo, I go to your stories just to steal your shit. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, yo, stop. And I don't care.
They'll probably like take the idea, maybe.
One of my boys, he tries it, and it's like the worst attempt ever. I try to teach him. He's like, I forgot what it was. He posted something the other day. It's like this money flying, and it had nothing to do with the story. I'm like, yo, So between your stories, linking stuff to your stories, I try to.
How often do you post? I think that's a fair question.
I think that's a real question.
Because a lot of people are trying to build their following. So how often does someone post?
Yeah, like maybe like when someone like starting out.
And I will say something back to what you were talking about, the app that helps your friend and she edits it. The quality of your post, the quality of the picture that you post, take some time and make sure it's nice. Because nobody wants to see a blurred out image of some darkness. You know
and I'm gonna be honest, man. Like when I first started, I was like, yo, I got to make sure that every time I post, that the post is good. But the issue was that it made me stretch out my posts.
Right.
So I wasn't posting consistently.
As often.
You know what I mean? And so that's something I had to alleviate. It's like, all right, now.
Right.
So what do you think about
100%. I actually stopped. So there was a point where I was posting useless things just to fill things up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't care if it takes me 2 weeks to post. I want even if it's a year from now, I want someone to come and see every single thing on my page is something legitimate. A photo shoot, a video shoot,
it's a
video I posted. Everything has to be something that's significant. If you go my old Instagram, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, stop posting stupid selfies ever. You're done with that. Stop posting ridiculous pictures. Every once in a while, what I like to do is I like to get people to think. So if you go back a little bit on my Instagram, you'll see I'll post something like a picture of a bench. If you had one chance to sit with anyone on this particular bench, who would it be? And 300 comments later. It's crazy.
So engagement. So captions that have that force engagement.
Yes.
That
I always ask questions.
Requesting your followers, to respond. Because people want to engage. They want to connect with you, especially if they like what you're putting out.
Right.
They want to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I comment on. Every time someone comments, I comment back.
Me too. Yeah. I like it, and then I comment. I respond.
So that's one of the things I kind of want to talk to you about too, is because when I hired Brian, I asked him for tips. I was like, well, okay, how? Because I want to help, what you're doing and
Right,
kind of maximize that, because obviously we're working together. I want to maximize that. So he
Right.
was like, we'll post quality content,
Right.
post on your story, post on your actual Instagram. But something that I felt really changed the game that you mentioned to me was engage with your followers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so when people DM you, when
Right.
people leave comments, like don't just be that asshole who's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I'm just too cool to not
To,
answer.
like, or
You know
to
what
say
I mean?
thank you, or to
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, no one's that cool.
Right.
No one
one's that
is.
cool.
Like, everyone deserves to have some
Right.
sort of engagement and response. So how, because you have quite a bit of followers, how do you find the time to engage with them, and what do you recommend to somebody who is kind of struggling with that engagement and like, oh, I don't know if I have the time?
Right. Well, I mean, I find the time. I make it a point in my day to pull out 30 minutes, even if it's 2-3 in the morning. I'll write people back. And I actually, some kid wrote me the other day, and he wrote me something to the effect of, like, and this guy used to see me go on Instagram Live a year ago. I haven't spoken to this guy in like a year. He goes, bro, I have a show tomorrow. I'm performing and I'm super nervous. And I saw it, and I could just be like, I want to reply to this. But of course I'm going to reply. I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
Right.
So I replied to the guy, and I'm like, listen, you pretend you're someone else on that stage. You're going to get butterflies when you're in your zone. That's your world. No one can take that from you. And this guy's like, you know what? Holy shit. You're like the only person that would ever takes the time out of his day to tell me something. And why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
Right.
I have
exactly.
a fan for life because
Right.
he is so appreciative that I take out the time out of my day
Mhm.
to give him some advice. And he's like, I can't believe you do that. And when I go on my stories, or excuse me, when I go Instagram Live, I don't just go on Instagram Live to just be like, hi, I'm Brian, and I'm Ryan. This is my watch, and this is my, no, I literally,
right.
I'm
Absolutely.
like, I come on here, guys, because I want to help you. So
Right.
let me know what you guys need advice on. I mean,
What do you
anything.
need?
I'm like, I've had people ask me silly questions like, I broke up with my girl at the lockers. What kind of note should I write? I'm like, damn. But
Been
still,
there before.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I help everyone as much as I can. And then usually, even when I did my album, and anytime I would get a positive review, I used to screenshot it, and then I tag the person that gave me the review
Absolutely.
in my DM. You know what?
Mhm.
Wow, this guy just screenshotted and tagged me to his 54,000 followers, and they love you for it.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't do it just because I want to be loved for it. I
Right.
genuinely do it. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy giving back, and I enjoy talking to people. So for all the people that's like, I don't have time, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Same thing with a girl that you care about. If you really want to be with a chick, I don't care if she lives in Doral and you live in West Palm Beach. If you want to be with someone, you are making the time. If you don't, if a girl or a guy doesn't reply to you back in 5 hours and he's like, sorry, I didn't have time, bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't want to
absolutely.
get, there's no such
That
thing.
person's
Absolutely.
not the
Yeah.
one to do.
But he posts on his stories
Yeah.
for the last
Yeah,
4 hours.
Instagram making
With
sure
like
it's
37,000
Oh, yeah,
gifs.
I got girls that won't reply to
Yeah.
my text, and I'll see them watch every story
Every
for
day.
24 hours straight. And I'm like,
Yo,
One
I
of my
bet that's
texts.
like so true for especially like in dating now. It's like
Mhm.
that I see memes about it all the time.
Man.
It's like, yo, you didn't answer my text, but I know you saw my story.
oh,
so
of
like,
course.
Right, like seeing who's seen it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
It's
exactly.
crazy.
So here's the thing I want to talk about. Like, and you kind of touched on that, and I feel like that's kind of where Alejandra and our brands have like kind of shifted. I mean, well, I'm sorry, not shifted. It's always been there, but you're making the time to make a conscious effort to put in a lot of like meaningful content. So you're trying to be a resource for people, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And so one thing I really like about you is that you do take out time. Like you take out time to like do Instagram Live
Right.
in order to just talk to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's like one of the best things in Alejandra. We've been talking about that. Like it's about time for us to either do YouTube
You got it.
or Instagram Live or IGTV or something.
Right.
Because
we got to start really engaging.
Right.
Yeah.
Separately or as a couple, people love that couple stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I know,
And you're
right?
both on the artist tip.
yeah,
I
both the
know.
artist tip, and we kind of talked about that, and I feel like maybe that's like the next segue I want to ask you is like, you know, when it comes to art, and you know, Alejandra and I, we started this podcast. A lot of people are gravitating towards it because we're artists and we're not like classified as like weird artists who don't talk or who, you know what I mean?
Yo,
Yeah,
no
like-
offense to all the
I mean,
weird
the
artists out there.
introverts.
Yeah, introvert. And when I mean like weird, like 'cause there's a bunch of like artists that are like really good, but they just don't really speak.
Right.
And I
The
went
guy
to
is
school
in
with
his
someone.
room like,
Right,
Yeah.
like just like literally in
Yeah.
a corner drawing at a party, and
Which
stuff
is
like
fine.
That.
That's
And it's
totally
fine.
cool. You have to know your personality.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
To figure out what it
for
is.
sure.
So now it's like the question I want to ask as a you know social media guru is like, how does someone figure out their niche and then be comfortable in their niche in order to build up their social media following?
Right. What I noticed about niches, and again, like I'm still trying to find my niche. I change up what I want to do every couple of years, and I
Yeah.
hate it. You know what I mean? But honestly, finding your niche, in my opinion, it's just constantly trying new stuff.
Mhm.
That's it. Like
Mhm.
there's no magic to it, you
Yeah.
know? And I noticed that with everything I've done, I always thought that there was going to be some like definitive moment in my life where
Right.
this is it. No, it's never been. I struggle my ass off and then something finally happens.
Boom.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's how you find your niche. You literally just.
What about like so of all the dishes that you do, is there
Yeah.
one thing that you just genuinely love doing?
Right. I actually really enjoyed starting to shoot these little viral videos. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, they've been true with me, and not everything I do is good. Like when I went into it, I told myself, post the garbage and the good, and
see what happens.
Yeah, because we live in a world where I know it sounds weird. We live in a world where people buy anything. There are people that will literally sit online buying dirty women's panties. Like, it's a real thing. Like,
I mean, panties in Japan, they sell drawers in the vending machine.
It's crazy. But like, we live in a world where you could sell dog shit to somebody. Somebody buys everything. So one of my videos where I'm like, I'm cringing off that video, I got at least 50 people be like, "Oh my god, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen." And then the thing I thought was the funniest video,
nobody
that
likes.
shit is whack, bro. I'm like, damn,
Dude.
So that's such a great point, because it's like sometimes as like a content creator or someone who's trying to build a social media following, you overthink it.
Oh, I overthink
You
everything.
overthink it.
Me too.
So like that's a great tip, and like something that I think a lot of people benefit from is like, stop overthinking what you're putting out sometimes. Like really just be more genuine. Just throw it out. Like you can't be scared. Like social media has created a platform where either you're posting a false version of yourself and just like putting out a fake, picture, whatever you want, or you're really putting yourself out there.
Absolutely.
And it's your job as the follower and the fan of whatever, of that person, of that business, whatever, to distinguish who you're gravitating towards. And honestly, I want real, genuine followers. I want people who are really art lovers and who really care and who are all on the same mindset and energy wave that I'm on. So like, in order for me to attract that, I have to showcase that version of myself. So I never really overthink it. I just kind of put myself out there, and that's what I've seen a huge correlation between me being more vulnerable and my success rate on like just creating my Instagram and turning it into a business.
When you stop caring, your success rate goes up.
Yeah.
Even with this homeless thing that I did, like I didn't think I was going to get negative feedback. People, I mean, it was a very small percentage, but there are certain people going in with the negativity. There was this one dude, he literally attacked every network of mine. He goes to my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on the Inside Edition YouTube, and my Instagram. He's like, "This guy's a fraud." I'm like, fraud? I've spent decades throwing shows for homeless people, HIV events. Like, this is just the one I filmed. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you something? You made it.
Yeah.
You have a hater.
You
have a hater, dog.
You have a hater.
You got a hater.
Oh yeah, true. You remember Cat Wayne? It's like,
if you got 7 haters, you gotta get 8 by the summer, boo boo. Boo boo.
That's it. And I wanted to kind of piggyback off what both of you guys are saying is like, because I struggled with that when I first started. It's like, man, I gotta have like fire content, or if I take a picture, I gotta do it with the best camera, or if I do a video, it gotta be shot and lit the best way. The crazy part is like when I look at like some of the videos that I think are the funniest, literally is people holding their phone up and like trying to do videos that way.
The most raw, organic one.
Yeah,
it
like
is.
The most raw.
This is the one we shot. It was the quickest one, no planning, no effort. It's the one that went viral. I swear, we did one the other day. Almost took us damn near 2 days. We were at this tattoo shop. We had to wait there for 3 hours for a 5-second shot.
Yeah.
And that one gets like the least views. It's just how
because
it is.
honestly, people are. This is my opinion. Yeah. I think people are tired of being fed things that they know is commercial.
Yeah.
Like they're over it.
Right.
They're tired. They're tired of being sold on things.
Right,
They want to experience real connection.
Right.
And I think when you do that, when you make yourself like raw like that, and you use the raw camera footage and that whole thing, it's like it gives them a chance to really see you and know and feel like they're not posing, they're not trying, they're just being them.
Yeah. I want to say this, man. I remember, like, I talk to Brian a lot, man. I be texting this dude all the time. Dude, I got some new hashtags, brother. I got some new pages to look at, And so I remember, like, when I feel like things started to turn around a lot more, like just what Alejandra's saying, and especially with you, Brian, like as well, like you started to make content that's like really helping people. Yeah. I remember, like, I started doing posts, and in my like new art or something, in the caption, like I'm saying something like super honest, like something I'm going through and like how I've like went through it and how that correlates to the painting.
And it relates to that.
And Alejandra does that, and like you're doing that with your videos. So I started to genuinely see engagement with that, right? So can you kind of walk through like even just like your viral video that we just saw?
Why do you think that one took off?
Why do you think that took off versus like all the other stuff? And it just like captures so many people.
Right.
You know?
So, before you go into it, I'll give them a recap. His viral video that took off was him staging as a homeless man, and anybody that tried to give him money, he actually gave them $100 in return. And it was during the holidays, and it took off at the end of December.
Yeah.
And so
in front of Tarjay.
In front of Tarjay, yeah.
In front of Tarjay.
So, but that is the video that took off. So why do you think that's the one?
I think that's the one, to be honest with you, because if you guys see what's going on in the news, and I don't want to get into politics, but it is flooded. We're inundated with negativity. I can't even take it no more. There are some days I have to tune out.
Mhm.
I want to punch myself in the face.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Or walk into a brick wall.
Right.
Yeah.
And the news nowadays, like if you watch CNN, Fox, any of them, they make it so. It's not like they report the news anymore. Like, doom, 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 update. This guy takes a shit in his lawn. Like, they make it so dramatic and throw this negativity in your face. And every minute of every day, all I see is negativity. It's so rare. I actually thought about it. I want to come up with like a whole news channel for just positive stories.
Absolutely.
I don't, you know.
There's so many people that have talked about that.
Yeah.
It's like one day somebody's going to do it and
It's
everyone's going to
crazy.
kill themselves for it.
Absolutely.
No, don't get me wrong. I like I could talk about politics. I could talk about pop star. Like I like to keep my ear to the grindstone and everything. So every time there's some kind of rap beef, I like to. What's going on with
Me
Eminem
too.
and MGK?
All right, what's going on with Soulja Boy? What did he say?
Yeah,
He said
what's
the Breakfast Club
yeah,
music?
exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually boosts him up. But I think because of all the negativity, I think this positive story comes out of nowhere. It's during the holidays, and I feel like that's got to be it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, also the news got a hold of it. You know, that helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But it has to do with all the negativity and just people are tired of it. So when this refreshing story, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's plenty of other refreshing stories out there, but it's so far and few between, especially with everything that the president
going
does is so
on.
negative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so anyway.
So just
Yeah.
being more, because people are
Yeah.
tired of it.
Yeah,
People are
people
tired,
are.
and they're
Yeah.
kind of waking up
Yeah.
to. I don't have to drown in that.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to drown in the
I
negativity.
don't have to.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, like we're in a society where a lot of people are like, you know what, man, I really want to like, I have control over what I watch and what I digest. Like, you know, like even for me, like when I'm on Instagram, dude, like I don't even watch like relationship stuff where it's like terrible relationship issues.
Like even
where it's
jokes.
like jokes. Like I don't even watch that. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because I'm just
right.
like, I mean, and I know people do it. I know it's funny. It's relatable.
It creeps in your head.
But
It
creeps in your head,
does.
like,
It
why
starts
does it
to
in my head?
plant seeds.
It's so good. It's subliminally creeps in your head.
Yes, I'm like, man, and I was straight. I was
Yeah.
straight. Like, I watched the video, I thought it was funny, but
So
Yeah,
honestly,
you know.
for those of you guys listening, don't think that you have to put out something dramatic or negative
No.
to get attention. You can do it by doing something positive, by
Right.
giving back, and by engaging
Right.
with people in a real way.
Like the boot gang
Yes.
dude. He goes
Oh,
and
my
like
God.
steals from stores.
Stealing
you know what I
people.
mean?
Yeah, no, you don't have to do
Been
that.
arrested like 8 times already, whatever.
Right.
So we want to thank Brian for being here and
Thanks
for
for
doing
having
this podcast. Please let everybody know where they can follow you and how they can find you.
See if I can remember 8,000 tags. All right, so
Okay.
Facebook is Brian Breach 03. Instagram is Brian Breach. Twitter is Brian_Breach. YouTube is Brian Breach 03.
So just
Yeah.
Google Brian Breach.
Yeah, just Google Brian Breach.
What I'll try to do is I'll
You know?
make sure I type all this up and put it in there.
Yeah.
If I
For
can
sure.
ask one more thing as
Yeah.
we're closing out, if you have one thing to tell to the viewers out there about what is
to the listeners.
to the listeners
and the
you know,
viewers. Hey.
to the viewers,
Yes.
absolutely, is to what is like the biggest tip that you'll give someone about Instagram and like being yourself and like when you post.
About being yourself. The more you're yourself on Instagram, the more it's going to resonate with people out there. Because again, Instagram is a place where everybody posts a positive. So you think everybody has these perfect lives. And then we start comparing ourselves to these people and then we feel down about ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you show your vulnerability, people finally, oh, they don't have such a perfect life. They're a real damn person.
Yeah.
And they relate to that more. So show your vulnerability on social media and people are going to relate more and they're not going to paint you as this perfect godlike figure.
Because there is no such
Yeah,
thing.
right.
There's no such thing.
The second I've had people tell me many times, like, bro, your life's so easy. I'm like, what? Do
Yeah.
you have any clue what you're talking about? But when I go Instagram Live and I tell more of my stories, people sort of understand more.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
open yourself up and don't be scared to open yourself up. People will relate. There's a million people that relate to your struggles out there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you again for being here.
Thanks so much,
And
Brian.
for any of you guys who are looking to build your social media, just know that this is the man. He's amazing. He's
The man.
great at what he does.
Holler at me.
Yeah, he
Holler.
has an awesome team.